All right, this is part 4 of our aluminum lap weld. This is the assignment part of the weld that we're going to take and shave off using the Bridgepor. We're going to shave off a little bit of this so we can see how deep our penetration was on the weld. So in order to get this machine set up, we first want to know where to plug it in. The Bridgepor here, which is a vertical mill, and our closet lathe share the same plug-in. So you see right there, this thing doesn't turn on. You just gotta take the plug out and switch it. There we go. Give it a test just to make sure it's working. There we go. All right, so this is very much like a drill press. And the difference is the table moves, and it moves very, very accurately. We've got all these different gauges on here, which we'll learn about later, but for this assignment, you want to take your piece of material that you've welded, make sure that it's flat and free of any bumps. You have to sand those off. This is nice and flat. And we're going to put these in the jaws, and then we're just going to increase or turn the handle on there. And the big thing with these Bridgeports, they can do, well, all vertical mills I should say, is they can do really accurate cutting, but vibration is your enemy. And so if you have this thing sticking up here 3-4 inches, you're going to have vibration there, and then you're going to have a bad surface there. So here's the other end of that. Here is my 1/2-inch carbide cutter. This one is, actually I don't know if it's carbide or not, probably just high-speed steel. But we've got 4 points to there and 4 valleys, which means those valleys those are actually called flutes. So this is a double cutter, and it's in okay shape. If we were cutting steel, we'd want to replace this, but this is just for a test weld, so this is the one we want to use. 1/2-inch shank. We can put this right inside our drill chuck. Tighten this up using our chuck key. Tighten that up real nice. We do have the same kind of feature on a drill press that we can lower this down onto our material. I'm going to choose to raise this up a little bit by the handle here. Keep that down. Sometimes people remove these and they set them up on the table just so it's not in their way. If this is pulled out, it's just a tripping hazard, but you can do what you need to do. We got this all set up right now, and I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to go very slow. I don't want to take off a lot of metal with this. This is kind of a gentle machine. If you treat it gently, it's going to do what you want it to do. If you're rammy with it, you'll break carbide bits, especially if they're smaller or you're working with a hard material. So all I have to do for this assignment is just shave off a little bit of this so we can actually see a little bit more of the metal structure on there. So I'm going to hit the start button. I just touched the metal on here, and now I'm going to, I'm actually going to use this handle over here to bring the table this way. So if you want to pan in here, so I just did one pass. Now I have to pull the table out. I have to pull the table out. Looks like we've got a note here that says counterclockwise and clockwise. What'd you write on here, Joe?
Table feed. You turn it counterclockwise, the table comes towards you. You turn it clockwise, the table goes away from you.
Awesome. So now here I'm going to do my last pass on here. This is just a rough pass. I'm going to use some oil on my finishing pass. Bring it all the way out. Alright, now I'm going to use oil's cheap, bits are expensive. I'm going to smear some goo on there. That's just recycled car oil. And then I'm going to start, I'm going to lower this down just a little bit. This is a way to stop the vertical travel of the mill. I just push that down, that will keep it nice and stable. And then I'm going to feed the material into the blade again. And with that oil, I'm going to get a real nice finish. Let the machine do the cutting. Don't want to force it. Aluminum is soft and you can get aggressive with it, but we don't want to. We want to be gentle. Last thing we're going to do is we'll clean the oil off and all the metal extra pieces in the parts washer. Careful, you know, it can be hot and sharp. This is like room temperature. And if I just use my finger, it didn't show us really anything. But maybe if we go clean it up and Alright, using the parts washer, we're going to clean this up a little bit. This didn't show us anything, it just gave us a nice clean cut. So what we've learned here, we've learned how to use the Bridgepor and some machining work with it, and then how to do a MIG lap weld that we can't tell if it's got good penetration. So I don't know what else to say.